So what is a Dart programming language? Dart programming language is developed by Google. So mainly the Dart is used in Flutter programming, mobile application development. Flutter is also developed by the Google. So Flutter is mainly used to develop the mobile applications and web applications. The mainly used for cross-platform mobile applications. And the Dart is, we are going to learn the complete tutorial of Dart programming language. So what is the main advantage of Dart is fast development, and it's a cross-platform. Right? So to start development, we need a development environment like IDE. So in the previous video, I have given already, we have made a video for how to install the Flutter and Dart in Windows. You can go through that video and learn. You can set up an installation. So now I will open my IDE. So I'm going to open VS Code first thing. Okay, and I'm opening VS Code. This is my VS Code, and what I will do is I will create a new project. What I will do is I will open my Windows Explorer. So in the documents, I have the Flutter. I'm creating new folder here, Dart folder. Okay, Dart training. So what I will do is I will drag that and drop here. Now I'm able to see the project here. So here what I will do is I will create one hello world Dart. So this is our first Dart programming language. So to run Dart file, we need to create a file with dot extension. So from here, let us write a sample application in Dart. So now what I will do is to run a Dart application, we need to create a main function, and I will write a simple application to print a hello world. We need to close the brace here, and I will run. So I'm writing my Dart practice in Visual Studio Code. In the Visual Studio Code, we can see the play button here. We can click here, or we can click here or here. Okay, so I will click here and I will start running it. So when we click on it, it will open the debug console and it will run in our console. Okay, so now I have created my first application, Dart application, and printed my hello world in the console. So I'm closing it now, and let us go to the next operation. So here it is a main void function. What is a main function? What is a print function? Main function is the entry point to run an application. If we don't have main function, for example, if I try to run an application without main, so it will check for main and it will give the error, right? So first we need to write main. Within the main function, it will run all the code. So this is our first function, and Next is print. What is a print? Print is a inbuilt method, predefined method to print text or whatever way given in this, it will print in the console. So the basic syntax of main function is this one. The basic syntax of main function is this. Here the statements will come. Here in between these braces we will get all the code here. So this is the main syntax to run the basic application. The first function is we need to write main function. In between the braces we need to write the functions. We need to write our code statements. And here, what is this one? This is a single line comments in a dot. Single line comments. We call it as single line comments. So what is a comment? Comment means if you are already programmer, the comment means the compiler will not consider it as a program. It will write a comment. It will not execute this comments. And this is a single line comments. If I wanted to write the multi-line comment, we need to give this as multi-line comment. We can write the documentation for the particular functions. And next is, we have already learned what is a print. Print is to print in the console. It will print in the console. If we run this application, this code will not execute, but it will execute and it will print in the console. So in this way we can run and debug and we can print the statements, print statements in the console. And next is, what are variables? We have opened the VS Code and we have run the sample application, first application, correct? And after that we are going to learn what are variables. So variables, what is a variable? Variable is nothing but a named values. We are giving some values and we are storing some values in some particular variable called variable. For example, there is an int age equal to some 25. Okay, so here age is a variable. Age is a variable and 25 is a value. We are storing the 25 value in the variable age. So equal to, we need to use the equal to. So to assign, to store the value, this is the syntax. So here, what is the syntax? So first, what is the first one? What that is called a data type. That is called a data type, and age is a variable, and we need to use equal to, and here the value, and end we need to give the semicolon. This is the syntax of the variables. So this is a variable. So what are number of data types? So if you want to use the value, if you try to print the value in the variable age, let us run it once and see. Here in the age we already stored the value 25. Whenever we are going to use age variable, it will get the value 25 on prints. So wherever you use the variable, that replaces the value. Okay, so this is the concept of variables. So here we are using the data type int. So there are several types of data types. So let us see what are the data types. Data types are So data types are integer, double. So syntax is int, and string G and bool. So these are all the data types. Data types means the type of the values we are going to store in that variable, right? So here, if you are using the value 25 is an integer value, so integer type of value, so that why we declare this as a integer. So in that way, the data type it will work. And so integer means it's a normal numbers. Integer means numbers without dots, mean decimals. Okay, if it is a decimal, then it will comes to double values. And if it is a string, some hello world kind of thing, some text, so then we call it as string. And if there are, whether it is true or false, these two values we are going to declare, then this type of variable is called Boolean variable. These are all the main data types. Okay, so next is, let us see examples. So now I will print the double. Here I will print double. Height equal to some 5.9. This is a double value. And if string name equal to Prakash, so it is a string. String value will store like a text. And if it is a Boolean value is student or some yes or no kind of values like true. It stores the Boolean value. If you hover on this, it will tell, the compiler will tell the type. See here, the height is a double value and name is a string, is student is true. So let us print the values. Print height double and print name at the end colon and print is student. I have written the print statement. So whatever I have declared, I am going to print the variables here. I'm just running the program. The compiler will run and execute the statements. So here the first print statement is hello world, and second statement here is this one is 25, and here height variable is 5.9 and string name variable is this one, and is variable is student is Boolean value. So these are all the data types we are going to use. We are going to learn more about the data types. Like integer will store the whole numbers like 1, 2, 3 minus values or plus values. Like decimal values will store, double type data type will store the decimal numbers like 3 point, 1 point, 100 point, 2 point, like that. Okay, so this is the difference. And string will store the values of text. And yeah, that is the things. And we have few more type. There are list collections. We are going to learn few more types like list, sets and all in the collections in the later. In the strings, there is a concept called string interpolation. String interpolation means embedding the string variables with a dollar value. For example, string We have already string variable name, correct? So let us print with dollar print welcome, comma, if for example here I wanted to embed the variable name, let us try to use the variable name right here. Here I want the whatever the value in the name, it should here welcome name is Prakash, right? So it should print the variable name. So but actually the expected name it should print the variable value, but it is not printing the value. So to print that we need to use dollar. So if you use the dollar, the compiler will consider this as a variable. Variable means this variable means this, it will get the value from that variable. Let us run it once. Okay, so this concept is called string interpolation. String interpolation, embedding the variables in the text using dollar symbol. It's called string interpolation. And next is string concatenation. What is a string concatenation? For example, I have one more string great equal to welcome, and now I wanted to combine this greet and name. Let us try to combine. Not this greet plus name. Greet plus name. Let us see the output and we can explain that. See, we have this. Let us add some space here. See here. So here I am adding the two string variables with plus, concatenating. So I am joining with plus symbols. This is called string concatenation. Next is lists. Lists. What are lists? Lists are ordered collection of items, similar to arrays. Arrays in other programming languages like Java or C++ kind of. So let us see what is list. So list is, for example, if I wanted to store the list of fruits, strings, okay. I will create some example type of variables. Fruits equal to apple, banana, grapes. So this is a string. How to print the values of this lists? Fruits, I will give directly like this. Let us see the output. So it prints the directly array object. So if I wanted to print the first particular element, first element or next element, for example, fruits of 1. So if I run this, fruits of 1 means it is printing banana. That means the count starts from 0, array. 0th element is apple and 1, 2. The one index, the index 1 is banana. So in this way we are going to use the lists in Dart. So if I wanted to add a new element in the list, for example, fruits dot add mango, and let us print the fruits variable now. So now the fruits array, this array is updated. So in this way we can add the object. So now I wanted to remove the object from the list. Fruits dot remove let's see, value. I'm giving directly value, or I can also give the index also, or currently I'm giving the value directly. The value should be directly you can give. And now after removing, let us print the value. The last element is the element which I have given is deleted. Okay, so if I wanted to get the number of count of variables, value count of elements in the list, how to get that? Let us see now. So if I wanted to get the fruits dot length, there is an object called length method. So if I wanted to print the number of elements within the fruits array, it will give, if we use the length method, it will give the number of elements within that array. See, here we got 3 elements. So to get the count, we are going to use this element. And map, the next is map. So what are maps? Maps are, it's a kind of array, but we are going to use the key value pair of collections. For example, string comma int, and for example I'm creating some scores. The syntax should be like this: flower braces, and here curly braces, and L is, for example, score is 90, comma, and Bob 85. So I have created a map, that is key value pairs. This is a key value and key value. So with the comma separated, we are going to create a collection of values. So now I'm going to get the value of scores of, I wanted to get the score of Elise. To get the value of the particular key, we need to call like this. The collection with the braces, we need to get the key. Using key, we will get the value. Let us run this, and it should print the value 90. So I'm getting the Elise score 90. So now we got the value as 90. So, and similarly, one more method is there. So now if I wanted to get all the keys and print here from the map, scores dot keys, and similarly if I wanted to get all the values from the from the map. So now it will give array, it will convert all the get all the array of keys and array of values. Type inference. Type inference is the dot infers the type of the variable at compile time. That means, let me write an example. For example, the where if I wanted to create some age 1, age already created, right? So that's why I'm creating the age 1. Age 1 equal to, currently it is invalid type, but age 1 equal to, if I wanted to use 30. So it's automatically created as 30. Dot compiler will consider it as a infer the type. That means we are not declaring it here as integer or double or string. We are declaring as a where. So based on the value, it will convert the type of the variable. That is called type inference. So we have learned the string interpolation, string concatenation, list, map, and now we are going to use where, means type inference. That means dynamically compiler will infer the type. So if we print the value of variable age 1, will print the integer 30. So now type of the age 1 is integer. The dynamically it will create. So the another is, so it will create the dynamic type. So another type of type inference type is there. There is called dynamic. So dynamic also value, if value equal to some string hello. So dynamic means it is also dynamically based on the type of value, it will convert the type of the variable. That is called the dynamic type. Here the type of the value is here string. And if I wanted to change the value to 43. Now the type of the value is here, it is dynamic. So let us see. But if age 1, if I wanted to convert this to some string, it will not allow here. So that is the main difference between where and dynamic, right? So I will remove this. So these are the main types. The next is concept called constants. So constants and final variables. Constant and final variables. So what are constants? Constants are, once it is given the value and it will not be changeable. Pi equal to some 3.14. So it is a constant. This value will not be changed. For example, if you wanted to give the value on one more value, for example 32.5. So because the compiler, it will give the red mark, so underlined with red, right? That means the compiler will not be allowed once it is declared as constant. Similarly, the final also same. If I declare the value app name equal to my app. So here also app name equal to some values, new app. See here, the compiler is given the error here. That means if you try to run this, it will give the error, right? So this is why I didn't run. So I will comment this. I will delete this and run. Save. Run. So this is about constant and final variables. Constant and final variables means once we declare the value, define the value, and it will not be changed again. Non-changeable values will be used as constants and final values. Control flow statements. What are control flow statements? Control flow statements are decision making. If it is something, do this. If or else, do this. We are telling the compiler to do the based on the condition, right? If, else if, else. This is one type of condition. And switch. And so these are all the main conditions. If else and switch. So let us see if statement. If, let us write an example. I will write the syntax. If, I will write in some here. The syntax is if condition, if condition, statements, else, statements. This is the syntax of the if condition. Okay, let us write an example. Int, we have the value is 18, right? We have already declared. If the condition, let us write the syntax first. If condition, statement, and else statement. Do practice like this so that we will be some clear in the syntax. And now age greater than equal to 18. If age greater than equal to, print some statement. You are an adult. Else, print some statement. Print you are a minor. So this is an example. So now let us run it once and see the values in debug console. So now the statement, this statement is true, then it prints the values, you are an adult, right? Or if it is, if this condition is false, then it goes to else statements and this statement will print in the console. That means the compiler will goes based on this condition. And next is the similarly we can write else if. Else if we can write this condition also. Age equal to 0. print you are not yet burned. I'm just trying to run some condition. So we can also write the third conditions like this. This is about switch statement. And now the first statement is if statement. Now let us learn about switch statement. Now the switch condition will be, switch syntax will be like this: switch some expression like maybe it will come as true or false or some number or like that. So based on that we are going to write the case. If it is value 1 something, if it is value 1, code statements. If it is value 2, code statements, right? So this is how the switch statement syntax works. And the finally we will have the default statements like else statement. Here it is a default statement. So this is the switch statement. Let us write a simple example. I will take as a string grade equal to B. And now switch, we need to pass this grade, right? Grade. We need to use the syntax case. If it is A, print excellent. We need to write the break. Actually here we need to write the break statement, or else it will continuously runs the same statement. The syntax is break. So finally this is the syntax. And next, case B. Case B. Print good job. Print good job. Break. Finally, default. Finally, default statement is default, right? Correct. No grades or invalid grade. Let's see. Invalid grades. So now let us run this. Good job. So the grade variable, the value is B. So in the switch statement we are passing the grade variable. So grade variable value is B, right? The first, if it is value case A is, print this one, execute these statements. If it is B, execute this statement. If it both are not, if execute these statements. So as the result is good job. So that means executed the case B values. In this way the things works. So switch statement, this is about switch statement. Next is loops, iterative statements. Loops are for loop, while loop, and do while loop. So these are all the loops in Dart. So let us see how these loops works. First, what is the syntax of loops? So syntax is for loop. What is the syntax of for loop? In for loop there is a conditions. The statement syntax will be like this: the for, the braces, and this open braces and close braces. So in the first statement, initialization condition, initialization condition, and increment, decrement, increment and decrement. And now here the statement executions. So for loops means the statements executes continuously iteratively until the condition is satisfied or true. So now in the for loop, let us write an example. For example, first is declaration I equal to 0, I less than equal to 5. That means I wanted to iterate this statements 5 times. So now I will print the statements here. Print count. Variable, how to declare the variable within the string like this, right? String interpolation. And now let us run it once and see. See here, count 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it executes 5 times as we given the condition print until 5, and it incremented the every time. I is incremented every time after execution. Starts from 0 and executed till 5. This is the loop statement. And while loop. While loop also similar to for loop, but the syntax will be different. While loop is while, this is the syntax, and the declaration will be outside the loop, and inside there will be increment, correct? And j less than equal to 5. Here print count j, here $j. It prints the variables like this. J, let's see how it works. See this, it starts, j while loop starts from 0, 1, 2, it incremented and execute it till 5. So this is about while loop. And finally, do while loop. So do while loop, the same values, let us do this. See here, I am selecting while typing here, I am getting this, and I am selecting the second one, and it is automatically written for me. So here I will write the condition j less than equal to 5 and do j already it is declared, and here I will print the values. Print do while loop, do while j $j. So here let us run it and see. So okay, so but we didn't increment it, right? So that's why it is not printed this many times. 6. Let us use k instead of j, because j already it is incremented, so that's why it is just printed one time. K, but int k equal to 0, and now we need to increment the value k plus plus. And now do while, okay, but it is printing j, but it is k actually. Can run this. Now you can see the values, do while k. So these are all about loops. We learned about for loop, while loop, and do while loop. And now next is functions. Functions, right? That's why it is. Okay. So what are functions? Functions is actually a block of code we can call as many times, and that the purpose of the functions are reusable code. The code reusability. For example, if I am writing this codes multiple times, instead of writing this code multiple times, we call this, we can encapsulate, I mean we can write this code in a function and we can call that function many times. So that's the purpose about the functions. So let us see an example. So now the syntax of the function is return type like integer, double, data types, or user defined types. Return type, function name, here. So after this we need to write open parenthesis and closure parenthesis, and here they are going to use the parameters. So here the function code statements, coding or statements. This is the, we can call it as function body or function body. So this is all about the function syntax. So if I wanted to write a sample example, for example, I will write here till here it is a main function, correct? So out of this main function, I'm going to write some function here. For example, void grade. Void means, I'll tell you, void means it will return. Currently, if it is a return type, and if we declare the return type as a function's return type as integer, for example, if it is integer as a return type, it should return the value integer type value. Or if we are declaring a void, it will not return anything. We are just declaring the void and the function name as greet, and this is the function, open parenthesis, closing parenthesis is the function body. So what I will do is I will print greet function hello world. So this is about the greet function, and now I'm calling this one. How to call a function? I'm calling this function actually greet. What it is telling, the expression doesn't evaluate a function, so it can't be revoked. For example, let's see, I will call this in here. What is this? Greet, void greet. The greet is already defined. Why it is defined? Let's see. Call it control X and control V. Let's see, greet one. Okay, I think it's greet already it is defined, so that's why it's getting an error, but okay. So control, so I will declare as greet one and I will control X. Let me write this function as this, like this. So it will work either ways. We can write either way in the void main function or out of this function. So if I hover this, I'm calling the greet. So the function definition is this one. I'm just calling this the greet one here. So let's see, let us run this. See, hello world or hello world, hello functions. Let us write as function, hello function. That means it is calling the hello function. So we can call this function many times. For example, if I will write, I will call this function 5 times, right? I will write like for integer I equal to 0, I less than equal to 5, I plus plus. So I will call this greet one function 5 times. That means I'm just trying to explain we can call a function multiple times. That's why I'm writing this example. $I times. Okay. So now I will write this. I will run this. See here, 1 time, 0 time. These many times we can call the function. So every time the compiler will go to this function and execute this statements. So one time you can write one time and you can call it, execute it many times based on this, based on our requirement. So this is about functions. So what are the function parameters? We can pass the parameters as well. For example, the greet string name, right? So here we need to pass the name. Here name we need to pass something like some 5 times, and here I wanted to print that name here, so that continuously it will shown. The hello function. See here, the first is I have passed the value, the greet Prakash, hello function 1 and 5 times. So these we can pass the parameters like this. If we have a multiple parameters, we can add the multiple parameters with comma separated. So this is called the functions. If we have multiple parameters, we can pass with the multiple parameters, comma separated. So this is void is without a return type. If you wanted to write a function with a return type, for example, if a calculation is there, addition, for example, calculation, if I want to add int addition, I will pass the parameters, two parameters, int a comma int b. So I'm passing two parameters. So it is declaring, it is showing some error. Why? What is the error? The error is, well, actually we are telling this function compiler this function will return the integer type, but we didn't return anything, right? So that's why it is returning. So we need to write the return and the expression. What we need to return, we will add that and result will be returned. So here what I will do is I will print that addition. First a parameter will be, I wanted to add some 30 plus 48. I want the result to be printed here. Let us run it and see. 78. So similarly, we can use any different types. Here, for example, I have declared the only integer. We can use the double or string or list or any type of data type. So the next is, what are classes? We learned what is the function and parameters. Now we are going to learn what are classes. So classes are contains a methods, variables, and different types of concepts. Classes are mainly used to implement the object-oriented programming. So for example, I am writing a class name, and there will be methods, variables, and so on. So we can call these methods and variables from the out of the classes. So let us see what are the classes and how to use the class and class methods and variables. So now I'm writing an example. Class animal so this is the class. Void sound, some example I'm writing. So this is a method within the class. So print, I'm printing some animal makes a sound, right? And now how to call this method, call this variable. So what I will do is, this is the main function, correct? So in this function, I wanted to call this animal function. So how to call this animal function? The first thing is we wanted to animal So I'm writing. So first we need to declare the create an object. This is an object for the class animal. So from this object, using this object, we are going to call sound. This is the method from the animal class. So now let us run it once and see. Right, animal makes a sound. So in this way we can call the classes method, right? So how to call we have seen how to call the method. For example, if there is a variable, we can also call that variable in the similar way. And now what I will see, let us see what is the extends. For example, class dog extends animal. So I'm writing a function void bark. So in that I'm printing the bark. So I'm printing some value, dog barks. So now what I will do is dog object. I'm creating an object dog, and now object dot, we can call both the parent class. The sound is a parent's class. Animal, we are extending the animal class sound and bark. We can call both bark and sound. So now if you run this, see dog barks. And also we can also call with dog dot sound, right? So I will save it and run it. Animal makes a sound, right? So this sound is an parent's class method, and this bark is a this class method, right? So this is how the classes works. So there are many concepts need to cover for an advanced level. There will be multiple concepts. These are just a basics. I mean basics, like these concepts are foundations for to learn the Flutter programming language. If you learn all these concepts, there are few more concepts, to learn. These concepts are foundational concepts for beginners. These concepts are good for beginners. Few more concepts for advanced level. So if we cover those, that will be good enough to go with to learn the Flutter. The Dart is a complete programming language to learn, and then after learning the Dart, need to learn the Flutter app development. So thank you all for watching the tutorial video. Happy coding. Thank you all. We'll catch up in the next video. Thank you. Bye.